Yo, 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 what is up? All right, there we go. There we go. Can I just get a mic check from you, Anuj, real quick?
Mic check, mic check. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
Let me turn you up. Say something now.
Hello, hello, hello. Coming in clear. Hello, hello, hello.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, all right, all right. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to episode 353 of the Center Ring Esports Podcast, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have Gamescon, which is like E3 2.0. Some might even say bigger than E3 in recent years. So we'll give some recaps there, some games to pay attention to, some things that we saw a little more of, a little bit of Halo news for everyone here. Also, an update. It's been kind of quiet. We have some Blizzard Yikes of the Week update here for you, so we'll get to that. And as a little bit of e-news, not as packed as last time, a little bit of e-news to get to. And there it is, 353 going to you now.
Hey everybody, this is Revin, coach of the New York Subliners, and you're listening to the Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date is August 25th, 2021. The time, 8:59 p.m. Anuj, 1 minute early compared to our normal time, which is 30 minutes late to where we say we're going to start.
8:30.
We say 8:30 because we used to kind of get on the computer at 8, and then it just kind of slowly went more and more to 8:30. So we're consistent. It takes us about 30 minutes to get the notes in and everything, at least. We might be late, but damn it, we're consistent, which is, I feel, more important.
It's pretty common for Indian Standard Time to be about 30 minutes late, so.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Are you a late culture?
I mean, you never show up to an event on time, ever.
Okay.
If you show up on time, you will always be the first person there, sometimes even in front of the host.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense because my wife is really into Indian culture, as you know, and she's constantly late to everything. So maybe that just rubbed off on her on doing yoga. So, no, that would drive me nuts. I'm a let's get there and just chill for 10 minutes in front of the house type of guy. But alas, I'm white, so kind of a wild card, really. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at the Center Ring. Our Discord is in the link there, and Patreon. If you so choose to support the show that way, we would love and appreciate you. You get exclusive access to our love. So how about that? How about that? My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports, and that voice that you already heard is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
What up? What up?
Have we recovered? Is the neck okay?
It's tender, but significantly better. We got movement now.
You can at
Sore,
least...
but for sure better.
That's all we ask. All we ask. That's good to hear. Good to hear. All right. So we have a hell of a show as I'm pulling back up the notes because for whatever reason I closed them, and without my notes, I'm flying blind, and you don't want that. All right. So we have Gamescom, but first, before we talk about that, Anuj, we do have an emergency Yikes of the Week, as we said we will do anytime we get a Blizzard update. Because if we honestly waited to Yikes of the Week, it's kind of like cheating. It's just like an easy one to throw in there. So,
and we would probably have 2 or 3 others already lined up.
Exactly. So, emergency Yikes of the Week, Blizzard Edition. Anuj, it has been revealed, or I guess accused, that Blizzard and their HR staff are shredding evidence. So
You know,
in the same breath of them going out saying, "Guys, guess what? We're going to do better. We're going to change our culture for not just for women but for everyone." And in the meanwhile, when people are wondering what that grinding noise in the
it's
background,
like we're gonna do better starting now. You know, like let's get rid of a couple of things before we jump into this hole. We're gonna improve. I really hope that that's not true because first of all, that's a we're getting into major legal issues here, right? So there are already a handful of them, and now you would think if it's coming from HR side, it's probably like reports that people have made over time, or
that they've been ignored.
like just it doesn't get much worse, yet they find a way to keep making it worse. And look, this is all self-inflicted. Everything, everything is self-inflicted so far. I mean, nothing has been, oh, like this is just bad luck. No, everything that has happened to Activision Blizzard till now falls on their shoulders. And look, if you're shredding evidence, dude, you've got some big problems right now, and especially if this is coming out. I don't know what the evidence is in the sense of like
Well,
the accuser. How do they know they were shredding stuff? Like they were there witnessing it, or
I guess so. I've read a couple of articles on it, and it just kind of is they have reason to believe that they're shredding evidence. So I assume that means a whistleblower somewhere in the company is just straight up seeing them shred it, or someone in HR who's been ordered to shred it is saying it.
it just sounds weird to me because everything is like electronic nowadays. Like who keeps paper copies of stuff that's
I
not
mean, a company
electronically
that is running
documented?
rampant sexual assault probably does not keep things electronically.
I was like, oh, you want to file a report? All right, well, do you mind writing it down on this piece of paper?
And I'm going to put it in my important drawer that's
Yeah.
labeled important. So I'm going to get to this one. In fact, it just means important in the sense of important. You need to shred this in case the feds ever come knocking on the door. So, and the crazy thing too is the evidence that they're shredding has to damn them 1,000 more % than what it is. The punishment is for shredding evidence to begin with, because that's the only reason you're going to try to shred it.
Why else would you chance it?
Right. If it's just kind of like, oh, the boss called me sweetheart one too many times, appropriate? No. Sexual assault and jail time? Probably not, though. But if they're shredding it, it's got to be like damning evidence that they just straight up ignored something really bad, which, from everything that we've heard, leads me to believe that that's probably the case. That's probably the.
I mean, at this point, it's like I'm watching a great soap opera. I'm just watching it crash and burn, and you don't know what's coming up next. And
Meanwhile, Bobby is just standing on the corpses that he's throwing in front of him,
reading his own IMDb page.
I had no idea. What's funny is I always thought he kind of looked familiar, like in the sense of I think I've seen him in a movie or two. And then you pointed out, like, oh, yeah, he was in Moneyball.
I happened to be randomly watching that, and he popped up on my screen. I was like, I know who that is. Is he in movies? So I just checked it, and yeah, for sure it was him.
Did he play himself in it?
No, he played the owner of the Athletics.
How random. Like, why would you be like a almost billionaire CEO in business and just thought, you know what I'm going to do? Dip my toes in some acting.
He did all right in the scenes that he was in. It was a scene with Brad Pitt. That's got to be pretty cool.
He was, according to IMDb, uncredited. So, apparently not that impressive enough.
Well, we give him all the credit for what's happening here.
Yeah, this one, you know what, Bobby, don't worry. You're going to get credit on this one. You will have credit for what's going on.
You see on his like Wikipedia, his LinkedIn page, uncredited for the work at Activision Blizzard.
Created a culture of loyalty. That's what there's got to be some corporate way to twist all this to make it seem like it was okay.
He can retire tomorrow and he's fine.
Yeah, nothing. Unfortunately, That's not how justice works, right? He's going to be fine. But anyway,
Yeah.
Activision Blizzard accused of shredding evidence. So we'll see what comes of it, if anything. Like, I feel like that's one of those things where you never get hit on. Like, you're never going to get jail time for it unless, like, the feds walk in and physically see you, like, flushing the cocaine down the toilet. And they know that's cocaine and not just, like, flour or something, you know? Because, like, what do they, like, hey, did you shred evidence? No. Nope. That was just, like, old tic-tac-toe games we shredded. And it's like, oh, well then, okay.
I'm laughing at all of this. The only ones that are really going to suffer are going to be us, the gamers, right? If this all goes into the shitter. And
Look, at this rate, WoW's monthly subscription is going to be $30 just to make up lost costs for everyone protesting their games at this point. At this point,
they might actually make a game we want just to get people back to start making some more money.
I mean, would the sacrifice be worth it at that point? That's
Can I tell you a crazy stat that I heard here for WoW?
Please
We'll go
do.
off topic now for a second. So all related to Blizzard, all related to the demise of Blizzard. So this is the spin to it. I saw a video from what's the name, Belluar Gaming. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Bellator Gaming maybe.
convinced me.
Anyways, he does years and years and years of WoW stuff. Probably one of the biggest WoW content creators out there. This guy posted a video that reported like the sub numbers for WoW. They're saying that WoW sub numbers right now are roughly like in the low 1 millions. There's 1.6 million active players playing in WoW. That's not counting alts. So the game records every time a 60 character does some sort of dungeon or raid or whatever. So the data is pulled. So it's pulled 1.6 million players from like this past month of playing or whatever, which in being realistic, everybody that's kind of a core player has an alt that they probably log on to and do some other content on. So even if it's a low number, we just say people have one alt, that's under 1 million subs that the game is currently running at right now, which think about where that was at one point.
Which that's saying something too, because I think for the longest time, and I know I've said this excuse a million times with WoW, where people are like, oh, did you see WoW subs are 20% lower than what they were last expansion? And what I and everyone else would turn around and say is, well, yeah, but they're still like number one MMO by, 40%. So, they're okay with a 20% drop because they're still leading the charge by 4 million or whatever, whatever the number was. They were so far ahead, it didn't matter if they lost a little bit. But now, and normally that's because back then when they lost a sub, they went and played another game, not necessarily another MMO, right? Because there was just nothing out there to compete.
And then they would come back at some point,
Right.
You kind of have that revolving door, but not really the case right now. I mean, this is right after a pretty major patch too release. Like 9.1 was a major patch release. So the numbers to be as low as they are, I mean, dude, that was pretty shocking to me. Less than 10% of the player base is like roughly 10% of the player base is rating. Like it's not that many. Mythic Plus, the stats are all out of whack of balance. I mean, the game is just a complete mess. So to see those sub numbers wasn't surprising, but at the same time, it kind of was, because I was like, man, they truly aren't the leader in MMOs anymore. Like they're not holding that top spot, even with the dip in numbers. Like they are officially number 2 or 3 at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure between the
Final Fantasy is significantly higher.
Yeah,
like
but
significantly, it's not even close.
At least for now, right? With everything going on and a lot of the streamers, and because streamers, I mean, we've talked about before, they control so much of that too.
No, but the streamers, a lot of them went to Final Fantasy because they had
Right.
already seen that the game had like kind of taken off on its own.
Yeah.
Streamers didn't make Final Fantasy big. They're helping and contributing to the new influx of players coming in, but the game was very large prior to like Asmon and them joining. They all went and joined because it was big.
So we'll see. And then with New World coming out, that's only going to hurt it even more, you would think, because I know that's I mean, that's our MMO of choice for now when that comes out. So
we took away our sub because we were waiting for this one.
Right. So, and the injustice of their employees, of course. Of course. All right, so we did have Gamescom yesterday-ish and today. Now, Gamescom, I feel like, has been hyped up the last couple of years more than in past. In fact, I couldn't even tell you how long Gamescom has been a thing. I, in my brain, have kind of always just remembered E3, and then that was it. And then slowly all the developers started branching off to do their own thing, and Gamescom was always just a thing later on in the year. It says here, started in 2009. Do you remember it being so news-breaky?
No, like I remember it being more like for the indie side, and you would see repeat trailers from E3. I don't remember it necessarily being like full of world premieres of AAA games, though.
Yeah, like where we were like waiting, like, oh, okay, so E3 announced this. Now wait for Gamescom because that's where they're going to give us more information. I don't ever remember it being that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're just not remembering it correctly. But this year there was actually quite a bit of things that people were looking for. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, we had the Xbox Gamescom event where they did not talk about Halo at all, though they said ahead of time, like, hey, don't get your hopes up, not talking about Halo. A lot of people seem to be upset about it, but then they also just did, like, the other day, a 30-minute developer update on Halo. So if you're really curious on news, like, it's not like they're withholding it from you. Go on their YouTube.
It was weird, though, not to have it in the Xbox.
Yeah, in the sense of, like, they could have at least done a shout-out to be like, yo, Halo fans, wait till tomorrow. Like
something, yeah.
We
just completely like ignored it, like it just didn't exist.
Right. Or hey, go on the YouTube and look at this 30-minute developer update and whatever. I see some points there. But we did have Halo today. And I just listen, I love 343 Studios. I love everything Halo. We all know this, Anuj. However, if you are going to say multiplayer reveal, and in big white letters on the screen behind you, it says Halo Infinite multiplayer reveal, I better see a multiplayer reveal. I had to message you being like, am I high right now? Like, did my kid hit me in the head? Did I not see something? Like, I saw a cinematic trailer that looked cool, but I didn't see, let alone multiplayer. I don't recall seeing any gameplay.
So it's funny because I went to the YouTube video after you had messaged me that, and not to go rewatch it, but to go look at the comments because I wanted to see what the comments said. Were people's expectations what our expectations were? Are we crazy possibly? And like, I don't know if we're understanding this wrong in what we just saw, but like it was very, very positive throughout the comments. And in fact, as I was scrolling down, I had a hard time finding anybody acknowledge the fact that it was a multiplayer reveal without any multiplayer gameplay. And so I'm trying to figure out like what did I miss?
Yeah, like
what did I not
go
understand? It was cool. Like don't get me wrong. So this is not a knock on what we saw. I'm just confused on what I expected to see versus what I did see. And like that was a cool little intro to the new character that's going to be like kind of with you throughout the first season or however they made it seem like. Yeah, sure, that was all like neat. That was fine.
It's like if you went over, if you were coming over to my house,
Halo like trailer,
right?
That would have been great, like perfectly fine. But it said Halo multiplayer reveal. Now maybe it was like the reveal could have just been the date that we were getting the game. Maybe that's like the reveal.
But then you should just say like release date. Listen, all I know is like I was really excited to see like, oh, they're going to show us some multiplayer because we just had the tech test. So maybe they've like tweaked some things and they want to show us another map or, give us a little bit more taste on what they're working on. And then it was just like, here's a cinematic. Here's the release date, which is December 8th, by the way. You and I nailed it. We said it was going to be a late holiday. Like, they probably picked the last date on the calendar they could to still make it in 2021 to say they did.
Well, and to like just have shipments there by Christmas,
Right. Yeah.
Like it's early enough to where it's like, okay, you can go snag a game before Christmas comes. But yeah, it was pretty obvious it was going to be late. I mean, it's already September, so it's already almost shoot, or it's almost September here, so it's like we're getting pretty close to the end of the year. Like it wasn't going to be an October 1st
No.
release date. Like it just wasn't going to
Like
happen.
two
So
big features aren't going to be in the game, campaign and forge. So you knew that. It's like
campaign will be there. It's
or
co-op.
co-op. Excuse
Will
me.
not be there.
Yeah.
So you'll get campaign and you'll get multiplayer
Yeah.
on release, which enough for us to stay busy.
And
Still
remember,
disappointed. But
everyone at home, remember, multiplayer is free to play multiplayer.
it
So
is. That's awesome. And
which
so,
I feel like is
look,
something they need to bring up every time they mention it. Like they're not mentioning that enough to, I think, people who like might not know it. You know, they're like,
yeah,
oh,
like
they're
somebody
both
that didn't watch E3 and they just watched this might not know that.
right. Like they're no, I need you to like drill it into people's head. Free multiplayer. That way,
And
anyone who's
I'm
on the
sure,
fence will
like,
do it.
I'm sure all the like all of your Steam or whatever it's on is going to be littered with that,
Of course,
at the
you would
time.
hope.
So
You
if
would
you
hope.
log on to any of those, you're going to see it all over the place. But yeah, I mean, look, we're getting closer to a release. We're still hoping to see some multiplayer gameplay before release. I think they could have done a little bit more at this. Maybe even just release when the next like tech test is. Like that. I think that would have been fine just to
Mhm.
add a little bit more onto it. But look, trailer was cool for it. I'm happy we got a release date. Thought it was weird that they said it was a multiplayer
Right.
reveal and didn't give us multiplayer, but we got a release date finally. So our plans for the next 4 or 5 months here are really like lined up very nicely from a gaming perspective. Our lives could be out of whack, and that's definitely the case, but
That's
our
fine.
gaming plans are kind of securing themselves nicely.
Yeah, because we'll have. Let's just go in the order here. New World first.
New World, Battlefield, Halo.
Battlefield a couple weeks after New World comes out, and then
A month,
Halo.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so we'll have like a month in between all these games essentially, and even trickled in there some other games that we could. Do you have anything else you want to add for Halo?
yes, because
Good.
in that time of playing games, I will be, for anyone interested, donating my plasma and sperm if you want it. I have fathered 2 children, so it does work if you need it. For the price tag, I would say like $500. And the reason I'm doing this is because they also revealed with Halo all of the Halo Edition controllers, consoles, Razer's coming out with a headset, Halo headset. So now all these are coming out. And Anuj, this shit ain't cheap. Like
Not at all.
Like I saw the Forza controller, which was awesome, and I'm a PC player, so I really don't even need like that nice of a controller. I want the official Xbox one. Just right now, all I have is a PlayStation and a Switch for console. So when I game on a computer, I use my PS4 controller, which I love. The issue though with that is it doesn't connect wirelessly. So like a first world problem. I just want a wireless controller for my computer. Also, first world problem, some games don't detect that it's PlayStation and I get the Xbox visuals and it just my brain
Annoying.
cannot compute PlayStation controller in hand, Xbox visuals. It just my brain turns into a pretzel. I can't do it. So, I want an Xbox controller. I almost got that Forza one, but then I was like, "No, don't be an idiot. They're going to show a Halo one tomorrow." Sure enough, they did. Unfortunately, it was the Xbox Elite controller, which that son of a bitch is $200.
$200.
$200.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep at night if I spent that much on a controller. So now the joke's on me because the Forza one sold out, and I'm not gonna buy the Halo one, even though I want to. Believe me, I want to. I just don't. I'm not using a controller enough to just. That is literally. So the system I think I saw is like $550, the Halo system, which is awesome looking, but it's like for almost half the cost, I'm getting a controller.
Yeah, a controller that you will never use the Elite aspect of it in the sense of like the back triggers. Like, what games do we play that would need that shit?
None.
Like that we play. I know they're needed. So guys, don't freak out on me. I understand that they are needed for people that use controllers avidly on FPS and all that, but it's like just need a controller that works.
Yeah.
Probably good enough for the games that I would be playing with controller, because there are some that it's definitely would be nicer to have a controller and just sit back and play. And
Yeah.
so you could join me and go with the nude crew. It's the straight black, sleek black. I think it's a matte finish, Tim, with a rubberized coating on the back. $55.
I'll probably
Amazon
pick
Prime.
that one up. I'll probably pick that one up. I'm gonna hold out with the PS4 controller on the PC for now, and then wait for holiday sales to see if anything.
Surely there'll be something that pops up.
Yeah. So if
Yeah.
I can hold out for now and just tell my brain that the X button is not the X button that I think it is, I'm okay. Because that's really the only one that trips me up. I can get all the other buttons right. It's the X's because each of them have it. But I digress. I want them all. A Halo fanboy into me wants to have it because I used to have the Halo headset. I used to have the Halo controller. I was Haloed out when I was younger. So
The Halo controller looks. I mean, it looks badass.
it looks awesome. But man,
Yeah.
$200? That's steep. That is steep.
That's the
and
price of like a used console if you just wait another year.
yeah,
You know,
like $200. That's you can save up and get quite a bit with that. You're not too far off. So, anyways, either way though, I'm jealous of the people who can get it. Unfortunately, I am not. Anyways, so other games though that we saw, I did mention the Forza controller, which is so badass looking, so clean.
very clean looking controller.
Not esports related, we're just talking games, but Forza Motorsports or Horizon, whatever it's called, looks actually pretty fun.
They always do a good job visually on that game, right? So anytime I
Yeah.
see a trailer for it, I'm always like, wow, that looks so pretty. You know, like that looks like a really just nice and pleasant game to play. And I'm sure it is. You know, if it's it'll probably come on Game Pass. I'm assuming that
Yeah.
seems like a game that would be there for us to try. And so maybe we get in and mess around on it. But yeah, it's one of those games that just looks so nice. I mean, it's visually appealing. It's not just the course and the cars, but it's also the scenery, you know, in these locations. I think they're doing like South America or Brazil or something for it. So looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah, I was kind of a Forza guy back in the day, a little bit here and there. And yeah, you're right. I think it is a day one Game Pass, which Psychonauts 2 is also already on there, which they showed yesterday. So if you're a
And that
Psychonauts
looks
guy,
fun too, actually.
right? So I think anyone who was an Xbox person back in the day has played Psychonauts. It's old at this point, but I will. The Xbox Game Pass has to be the smartest investment, and this is not an ad. It is just a smart investment. If you're a gamer and you find yourself in a slump and you don't know what to play, I think you can get the Xbox Game Pass like for a promo for like $1 for your first month. And you get all the Bethesda stuff. You get anything.
All the generic EA stuff, like not all the new stuff for EA,
But, like,
but
if-
a lot of their content is available to you.
EA's lower level pass comes with it. And it's like, I think it's ridiculous. It is
Plus all the games you get from Xbox or Microsoft. I mean, it's like literally
Halo. You'll get
hundreds,
Halo.
and I feel like we should stop talking about it because we're giving out way too much free promo here. But for the sake of you guys, we want y'all to know it really is a hell of an investment. Like it's been probably the best single buy I've made in gaming in a long time.
Yeah. No, they definitely know their market because you know what I do? Well, and I don't know if it's a sign of me maturing and getting older, or maybe it's just even like the young whippersnappers feel like this too. Maybe it's just the way gaming is nowadays. But a lot of times when I'm like watching this stuff, or even like I'll go play a beta of a game. Like I just played the beta for what's Ubisoft's game called? Riders Republic. The beta opened up today for the next couple of days. You can play if you want. It's only like a 20 gig download. Not that bad. I find myself either playing the betas or seeing it, like the reveal, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that looks fun. It looks cool. Not going to buy it. Not going to spend $60 on it. Probably won't spend $40 on it. In fact, I probably wouldn't spend 20. But it looks cool. I appreciate all the hard work someone put into the game. Looks fun for like the first hour. But I know me at this point and not going to do it.
That's the bigger issue. I just know myself, right? So I know what games for me that I should be buying and avoiding. But you're right. There's so many games where I just see a trailer and I'm like, oh, yeah, that looks nice. Not for me, but I'm sure the people that are going to play
Yeah,
that are really going to enjoy it.
never gonna play it. Like I played the Riders Republic beta and it's okay. I wouldn't give it a thumbs down, but I'd be hard pressed to endorse it as well. Like if the ratings gave it like a sideways thumb, that's what I would do. Like, you know,
Just okay.
it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's exactly what you think it is. It's extreme sports racing mixed with tricks here and there, but the beta is super slow to me. Like it just the tutorial and the startup to get everything. It's like I just want to go and do dirt bike down a mountain and do tricks. I don't need some gimmicky story mode to start me off. Like let me just get in it.
Let me just get in and hit some damn buttons, figure it out.
Right. But that's not how the beta is, at least. So it's okay game. I would say it's right now. This is the best time to try it because it's free. After that, I would probably be like, yeah, not. I will probably not be a returning customer. Let's just say that.
Fair enough.
Any other games though caught your eye?
Well, yes, good and bad. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, as we mentioned a couple of times on this show. They finally did a gameplay reveal. Thought it looked great. I mean, it looked still had the old school feel, but it looked like it had obviously been cleaned up a decent amount. They did add April O'Neil as a character. Don't know how I feel about that. Like, that's not like really her role, you know,
Like
like in the
give me
in the
Casey or
show.
something. Like
Yeah, like, it would have made more sense to have Casey for sure. Like, there's just it felt a little weird to see her walking around swinging this big ass hammer around or whatever, you know, they had her throwing with. It just, I don't know, felt a little weird to see her as a character in that form or fashion. But I thought it looked really cool. They've added some new mechanics that I noticed on there in terms of like getting somebody up with a pizza and doing the revival type stuff that way, or the way that they showed it looked different. Um, Disappointing news, delayed till 2022, and it's not super surprising considering, again, once again, we didn't have a release date for a game that said it was coming out, and just supposed to be the next few months. But another game hit by the delay bug, and we don't have still a release date for it. We just know it'll be next year.
knowing nothing about game development, that one seems like one that could have happened this year. Like, seems relatively simple. I don't. Maybe
Yeah,
not
like we're
again.
just like I thought we were just like cleaning it up,
I
like
thought we were just kind of making it HD and letting us play. But you know what? I guess if it's worth it, it's worth it.
I'm surprised we didn't see anything on, like, because maybe it's because it's delayed, but like Harry Potter, I'm surprised we didn't see anything
I think
on
did
that
they not
game.
show it? Did they show anything for that at E3? I don't remember. I thought they showed like a cinematic reveal trailer. Or was that last year? Like 2020 E3.
Hard to remember which year it was.
I
I've seen
know.
a trailer for it, but I
Right, and I
couldn't tell
just
you.
think it's been that one though. I don't think they've showed anything else.
That is
Splitgate.
delayed till next year also, or is that delayed till 2023?
Oh god, that one I'd almost have to imagine is 2023 at this point. What is it called? Harry Potter Hogwarts.
Legacy
Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy.
2022.
Yeah, I would not put your money on that one though. Closer to the realm of esports, Splitgate made a reveal. So
Smart, like going to season 0, like starting kind of
right.
starting off.
Because the beta did have like a battle pass to it, but I don't think it was like anything crazy. So they started Splitgate season 0 today. So
I also like that they did season 0. Just a little different. The 0 for the portal side, like look or whatever maybe, but
I think it's just it's letting everyone kind of it lets you know that it's still in beta, right? And so I think it's going to be season 0 until game release, which I think is sometime later this year, like November or something. Is like they're pegged official.
they just got to get going because they have a lifespan. Let's just be real, right?
I mean,
Like,
and you're
unless they take off and go huge in the next few months, the lifespan of this game, I'll tell you, December 8th. that will be the day that this game will have a really tough time surviving in the landscape that it'll then be in, and that's with Halo coming out. So it's just people are enjoying this because of the similarities, and as it's a nice little refresher, to play a game similar style to Halo, but they have to take off now. Like they got to get it going. They have to get, some sort of rank system and make it competitive. And if they want to do something esports related, they need to like try and do that in the next few months and then make it a good product before Halo hits the shelves. Because I'm telling you, once Halo comes, it's gonna be too hard. It'll be the leftovers going
Right.
into
Well,
here.
especially when it comes free to play. Halo has not battle royale, big team battle. Once the Forge comes out, you're going to get people making fun game modes, whether it be racing or goofy, one-off game modes that are fun for people. Like right now, and this is not the end all be all, in my opinion, but I do think it speaks volume, whether you hate it or love it, and that's Twitch. Look, the other day, right now they have much more, and I'll get to that in a second, but the other day, Splitgate had only like 1,100 people watching it, which for a game that was apparently having like broke records on Steam for most people downloading the beta in the first week and had queues that people were waiting an hour plus to play, I would have expected more. But as we said, the shelf life on it, no knock on them, it could still be an amazing game. I thought it was an amazing game 2 years ago when we first played it, but the same issue. You don't get the masses playing this style of game anymore for multitudes of reasons. But like right now, it has 34,000 people watching. 24 of that is Shroud, right? So steep drop off. It's Timmy is streaming with 4,700. So I mean, it's a steep drop off, and I do think that speaks volume to what people want to watch and play. No knock on Splitgate again. I love that type of game. The issue, though,
there's only room for one of those types of games
right?
to be really active at the same time. And like I said, it can happen like Valorant and Counter Strike. They're close enough with differences that'll allow them to survive together. You could say the same for Splitgate, but that type of game mode hasn't been like that popular as of late, and I think Halo will just take over that. Like people will
I mean, just
gravitate to what's popular at the
right.
time,
And
and
it's not even just necessarily, it's multiplayer. Multiplayer has not been that popular. Like whether it be on Call of Duty, I mean, Counter-Strike and Valorant are the exceptions, right? But it's just, look, the reason BRs are so popular is because it can trick people into thinking they're better than what they are, right? Someone who might be bad at the game could kill the best person in the game if they just sneak up on them or get lucky at one point in time. You will find out that you suck pretty quick in this style of multiplayer game, and then it will not be fun for you. So I hopefully this gets people more hyped up for Halo, and then we see both succeed maybe in the end, right? People have preferences and say, well, Halo, like I saw Doc talk about it, that maybe Halo might be too generic for people after playing Splitgate. I don't see that being the case because you have very generic games like Counter-Strike still be immensely popular with people, but we'll see. Is there enough
if Halo
room for
does a
both?
really good job on the multiplayer and the big team battles and makes it interesting for people to continue to come back and grow on that content with the Forge and all that soon after, like it's gonna be very popular for a long time.
Yeah,
And then you even have talks of Ninja kind of teasing that he might be interested in competitive side of Halo and competing again. Like there's just gonna be it's not like that esports scene has to start over. There's going to be
right.
really big names involved, regardless ninja or no ninja. It's gonna be like big names involved from the start, fan followings. You'll have some Call of Duty players switch over, I think, to Halo, especially if the league doesn't expand. So they're gonna take off at the start for sure.
I'm sure Ninja might compete like he did with what's it called? With Valorant. How he just kind of made a team and he's Ninja and he's has the money to do it, right? And he has the people that he would want to play with him to do it. So he'll probably compete in that sense and see where it goes. But look, regardless of your opinion on Ninja, it definitely helped Valorant in the beginning, I think. Right? He has a loyal enough following where people will watch it and get hyped for it. So I'm down for it. I am down. We mentioned New World. They did show a little New World trailer. I guess I missed that though.
Yeah, it's funny. I watched the trailer, and the first thing I think to myself is, "Man, I wish the game actually looked like that." Like, because now we've played the game, and you watch these trailers, and you realize how like staged the visuals are and what they show. But still hyped for the game. Still excited. Trailer is a trailer. It is what it is. I really don't care about cinematics. Like it's one thing that's always kind of been at the bottom of my list when I'm looking at a game reveal is let me see your cinematics. Like at some point I start hitting the escape button just to get back into the game and continue playing. So excited that game comes out in, a month from now, basically. And Tim and I obviously and a lot of our buddies will be on that, playing. So if you're interested, let us know. But yeah, from what they showed, a little bit more of the same. There wasn't a whole lot more to it.
Again, if you are playing this game, you need Navy SEAL Team 6 type coordination to play with friends. So if you are playing and you want to play with us, we will definitely play with you, but you have to let us know so we can tell you what server we're on. And then what faction we're joining.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to it to play with people that you know. So just fair warning on that. Heads up. Other games caught my eye. Destiny 2 talked about a lot of stuff. They announced like their next expansion. I forget
their next season and their next expansion. So the next season just went live. And then the next expansion coming out in just a couple months here. From a storyline perspective, very interesting because it finally goes back to like more of the Forsaken side and bringing back, this is kind of like the main foe, I guess you could say, that people have been wanting to see. So it is, I think it's cool what they're doing. Like it's taking it in a good direction. It does look like a little bit more of just the same to me, looking at it.
Yeah. And that's been the
but
issue with Destiny 2 or Destiny 1. Like, Bungie does not lack on story. The story for Destiny is awesome, right? The issue is once you're done with the story, or even when you're doing the story, the gameplay itself, as amazing as it feels, I mean, it is the same thing as last story in the last season, and it's go kill 30 of this with this type of gun and go do this and get 10 sniper kills and
like they don't really change. Like it's not like when they are creating these expansions, they're not introducing new types of villains into it that change. Like all the mobs kind of feel the same. Once you've seen the 3 or 4 types of mobs there are in the game, you kind of are just fighting the same ones in different scenarios. Maybe a mechanic here and there is slightly different, but in terms of like visual appeal, it kind of all looks the same. So either way, I'm excited enough for it to where I'll check it out months after release, I'm sure, because it's a game I've gone back to so many times now that I'll never tell you that I won't play Destiny, because the gunplay is still some of the best gunplay I've experienced in any game. So chances are I will check it out at some point, but I didn't watch that trailer and think, "Ooh, this looks like something I'm gonna have to be in day one."
No, that will be a purchase on sale game for me. Because even looking at like the reviews, because now how Destiny, like, they'll take things out of the game to like time lock it, whatever, and like people are saying like they've taken things out that were from paid expansions. It's like, you can't really do that. You can't take things out of the game that people paid for with an expansion like that. Come on. Like,
kind of defeats the purpose a little bit.
Right. Like, you can't just say, nope, sorry, can't do that. You didn't play it when it was here. Not when you have people paying money for it. But
one that obviously intrigued me, Tim, Age of Empires 4. Finally saw some gameplay for it. Looks cool. Looks like Age of Empires, but obviously much more updated than what we're accustomed to. I really hope that game does well and has a really cool niche esports scene, because I would enjoy watching that at a highly competitive level. And I think we'll see that early on with the game. I just hope it's sustainable. Probably be the only RTS that people are even focusing on, with StarCraft kind of not being supported the way it once was. And so excited for Age of Empires though. Like it's just a
game I've enjoyed for as long as I can remember now. So to see it coming out with its fourth, major iteration is something neat.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, if it comes out, do they have a release date for it yet?
Yeah, I think it's like October 28th.
Okay, so this soon.
Yeah.
I mean, in their defense, there's literally no other competition right now for an RTS.
It really isn't.
Like,
Yeah.
the only other competition you can maybe say is still StarCraft 2 at this point, but, like, that's, like, nothing.
Command and Conquer Red Alert.
Whatever happened to that series?
It's still around.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, they like released some stuff recently.
Oh, all right. Who would have thought? The other thing they showed was some of the campaign gameplay for Call of Duty. So if you're into that, I mean, it looks like a Call of Duty campaign, right? If you like it, you like it. If not, then
Visuals looked amazing, though.
They always do.
Yeah, like if they were showing, they said they were showing live 8 minutes of gameplay. So I'm gonna take it for that's generally what it's going to look like without maybe it getting toned down before it gets to us. But looked fantastic. The guns like that they showed, I thought shot nicely and looked good. Like maybe there's more hope here than I'm giving it initially, but
well, I know a lot of people have already on Reddit, for what it's worth, is already not happy about the game because it's already been announced or revealed or leaked, whatever word you want to use. Apparently, they are not. You will not show up. It's like Modern Warfare 2019 edition, where you will not show up on the radar, even if you have an unsilenced gun. So
how do people know that already?
I mean, someone mentioned it on
Leaks.
Yeah, that, like I said, I don't know if it had to have been leaked by someone in the know, but yeah, apparently people are already not happy about it, and people are already saying, well, I guess one more year of Cold War won't be too bad. So, look, the COD community is so jaded. That is the one downside to where it's like, people always bitch that Madden is the same every year, but at least you know what you're getting. With COD, you get a new COD every year, but it's also vastly different enough to love it or hate it, and you're never going to get people agreeing with it. Like everyone's favorite.
You'll never
COD.
get both sides of the aisle to come together on that one. It's just not possible, unfortunately, because you still have the group out there that only wants jetpack games. You still have the boots on the ground people. Then you have the modern versus old school. Like it's just a very split, and that's one of the fun things. I mean, also at the same time, right, as each year you're getting something a little different that appeases a different group of fans. But look, at the end of the day, for a game like this, I gotta wait to see it. You gotta get your hands on it. You gotta play it a little bit, see, just see what gunplay feels like, movement feels like, visuals look like. So there's just so much that we're waiting to see, and then I think we'll be able to judge it fairly.
Yeah. I mean, like I
The
said,
COD community is negative right off the bat.
right. Like even right here, you go into the competitive COD subreddit, and like one of the first posts you see is, how many people will this be the first COD they don't buy? It's like,
yeah, it's like the same thing every year.
right, every year. So either way, so there's that kind of last bit of Gamescom and everything there. So some good announcements. Nothing. I guess this is what Gamescom is, right? It's nothing was mind blowing. I wasn't blown back by anything. I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't believe it. The Halo controller and console were cool but expected, also expensive as shit and already sold out everywhere because they probably only made 10 of them. But I'm excited. Look, we did a show on Monday, so it's been a slow e-news day in the last 24 hours that we had to get news on it. But thankfully, Gamescom was here, and we were able to talk some general gaming news. But we'll see. We'll see what else comes out in the reveal. But either way, the one thing to take away from this, December 8th, Halo release. So
it's kind of the main thing, right?
That's the big thing.
That's really all I heard.
With it being free to play, you're for real. Like as soon as they announced that, I was like, all right, I could turn this off and probably be okay. With it being free to play multiplayer, like we will definitely get private 8-man going. MLG settings, we will get private rooms, 4-on-4s running all that weekend. Like I will be on all weekend running privates if we have to. So December 8th. Mark it on your calendars. Tell your loved ones. All right, let's get into some e-news. But before we do that, let me tell you about their sponsor, which is Philly Esports. We talk about good dudes in esports. In esports, Philly Esports is one of them. Talk about supporting grassroots and the little man in esports doing things right. They are Philly Esports. They started grassroots in the community of Philadelphia. Now they have gone coast to coast with online events. We've talked about it before, but this weekend, Saturday, August 28th, so there's still some time to sign up for it. Their 3-on-3 Rocket League event, $2,000 prize pool. Completely free to sign up. So go ahead, grab some of your friends, sign up. If you don't have any friends, get into a Discord server for Rocket League, get on Reddit, find some dudes that want to compete, right? Look at pros. A lot of the pros weren't like, hey, I took my best. You know who played with their best friends? Me. Look what happened. I was a semi-pro in Vegas 1 and 2. And now look at me. I host a podcast. Do you want to host a podcast? No, you don't. Grab some people that want to compete, want to play, and head over to phillyesports.net right now. All right. Getting into e-news. In CS news, MSL, AZ, Tensky. How do you say that?
I said Tensky, but I'm probably saying it wrong.
That's how I say it because it's the only way my tongue will work. Tensky? Yugi and Fesser will play. Oh, so it's a new Danish squad, essentially, if we needed another one of those.
Playing under the name South.
South.
Love it.
So, of course, are all these guys former North?
I don't know Fesser.
I don't know either, but handful of them are former North. Obviously, North Esports no longer with us. RIP. Stay hard. But they created another orgless org, so they can be signed up, but they are going under the name of South, which is awesome.
I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's just first of all, decent team. So not a bad little lineup they got there. I like the play on words. So I hope they get signed. It's an opportunity for them to kind of showcase what they have. And MSL's been rumored so many times. Kind of crazy that he hasn't been picked up at this point. But look, glad they're getting a unit together, and it's not a bad team.
In Overwatch, some playoff news here. The league announced just today that originally the playoffs were going to be held here in Texas, with the champs being in LA, in California. Well, obviously, with recent developments in COVID just around the world, they just didn't feel comfortable and or possible to get the teams to fly. And a lot of people think this is just about player safety. It is probably from a PR standpoint, but it's logistics, I think, more than anything. It's just some people couldn't fly in their teams here. So they had to make the hard decision, Anuj, to hold it all in Hawaii again. So thoughts and prayers for the staff of Overwatch League and the teams that they just have to go to Hawaii. I know they were really looking forward to come to Arlington, Texas, but they're going to have to settle for Hawaii.
I hope they survive.
It's probably the easy. In fact, the league was probably like, no, just say it was because of COVID or something, but we're going to go back to Hawaii. Just
make up something.
We're all about to get arrested for sexual assault. We need one more vacation. Just go to Hawaii. So, again, odd though, because well, I guess not odd if it's logistics. Never mind. I was going to say because CDL just had their event in LA with fans, but all those teams were stateside already. Overwatch League is not. So, scratch that. I'm an idiot. Valorant news, no real big news here, just a friendly reminder. Berlin is coming up in about 2 weeks. It's September 10th, so do the math, 15 days or so, 16, I guess. In Call of Duty, some roster shuffle on the coaching side of things. New York Subliners have let go of their head coach and friend of the show, Revan. So maybe we'll have to get him on. I know he was also a big Halo guy, so maybe we'll get him on to talk some Halo when it comes time closer to. Also, Scump has announced that he is not retiring. He is coming back. So
that's good for the game.
That erases one. Yeah, a lot of these veterans, and I don't know, I guess we're about to see how loyal Call of Duty fans are, but Because if you talk to them, they act like as soon as Scump and all these veterans retire, they're just done with the scene. Like, I don't know if that's really how it's supposed to work, but for Call of Duty's sake, you hope that's not the case, because it can't be too many seasons left at this point. Like, it's
gotta enjoy them while you got them.
Yeah. So, or maybe I don't. The funny thing is my brain always goes off of like old esports retirement age, right? Which was always like 23, 25. If you got to 28, 29, God forbid 30, you were like, oh my, you are old playing esports.
Very like Forest. Forest is considered ancient in esports.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's also because back in the day, like, you would win checks for like $1,000 for the entire team. So you had to retire so you could go salvage what little professional life you could with no real experience. Nowadays, it's
support a family and whatnot.
Right, exactly. Now it's completely different. Like, Scump is making plenty of money to continue playing until he feels like he truly cannot do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't feel like he's missing out anything in life because it's his career at this point. He's making enough money to
once
do
you
it.
step away, you can't go back to it, you know? That's the thing. So you want him to do it as long as he can, and more importantly, as long as he wants to.
Yeah. Or as long as CDL props up his lifeless body in a chair and says you have to play right now as we shock your body into doing it. So, which will probably be the case in the end. Battle Royale news. Apex Pro League has announced, and check it out on their Twitter if you're interested in it, but it's because all the dates and information's there. But essentially they're doing open tryouts, open signups, whatever you want to call it, for their pro league. So you can go and sign up your squad and go through open tournaments and everything and possibly qualify to get into the league. Or more likely just signed by an org, right? If you're orgless, you're probably getting signed up.
Awesome way to get exposure.
Yeah. Apex Legends is getting like a weird esports boost all of a sudden. Like, they made an esports Twitter account recently, and it's like this resurgence with Warzone dipping. Like, it's almost like they've had this all just sitting and waiting, saying, okay, we don't want to spend the money yet, but as soon as we smell some blood in the water, we're going to pounce. And it's like, it's been enough of it lately to where I feel like they're announcing it. So good on them. Good on them. In other news, Anuj, you're going to have to take this one because I have no idea who these guys are.
Dang. TSM, Daquan, and the Hamlins are returning. Now, both of these guys were two of the biggest content creators when they left at their peak. They were honestly, I mean, just absolutely massive. Them along with Myth. This was during the quote-unquote glory days of Fortnite. Both of these guys kind of left content creation abruptly, and recently, you know, there's been obviously fans have been wanting to know what they've been doing. They've been ultra silent, and all of a sudden billboards started popping up around LA that they've been spotted, they're back, and now word has come out that they have signed with NRG, and they're going to go live tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So just kind of big for the content creation world. You know, this is not esports related, but they were a big part of the Fortnite craze, and they were fun personalities, and yeah, I mean, just good to have them back in. It'll be fun to see what they do tomorrow. I'll be watching for sure.
Sure. You lost me at content creation in Fortnite. Like, at that point,
that's when they like really blew up, obviously, like several others,
like
at
everyone
that time,
else,
you know?
right?
Yeah.
No, okay. Just put it under another millionaires that I have no idea who they
Tim
are.
News was a little light, my friend. Okay.
I understand. Like, again, that always happens when we have to push a show back, and not enough time to create some e-news. But hey, still a hell of a show. Still the best episode ever, Nuge. Thank you so much. That does it for episode 353 of the Centering Esports Podcast, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast. Thank you to Philly Esports for sponsoring e-news, as always. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Our Discord is in the link or in the description, as well as Patreon if you're into it. We will be back Sunday night, Monday night. All depends on our family schedule. If you haven't figured out the trick, it's not up to us. It's not up to us. It's kind of up to what our wives have us and if we are on kid duty. But we'll see. Sunday, Monday. The best way to know is be in our Discord, follow us on Twitter, and tune in live and or the podcast. Either way, you'll never miss a show if you do it that way. Open invite to anyone in the Halo community. If you are of any importance, hit us up. We are looking for people to get on to talk some future esports with Halo. But other than that, for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see you guys next time. Love your faces. Goodbye. Okay.
I'm surprised we've found it this hard to get people on
From
fucking
Halo, bro. Halo. What are they doing? They should be jumping at the opportunity to be on the podcast. I don't understand why it I don't
The
know.
funny thing is, it's always been hard, not just during Infinite.
No, like even when it was like absolutely nothing else going on for Halo. Before Infinite was even a thing. We've been trying to get people on from the Halo world forever. And they just maybe
We
it's
had
like,
one Halo Pro on, right?
yeah, Pistola. It's almost like they still think they're just this esports monster, you know?
Or maybe they just don't care about doing like press. I don't know. Like it's just like it's free. We want to talk to y'all. Not gonna ever shit on you on the show. It's gonna be positive. So I don't know.
Right. Like if you ever want like a softball interview, we're pretty chill about it. One of these days we'll get them. We'll get them. I hopefully like I don't know like does whatever happened to those orgs that signed Halo teams? Like Envy and Cloud9, do they still have it? Do they still have it? Like I don't think Pistola, like I think Envy quietly dropped their Halo roster. Oh no, it's still on their website. Let me click on it to see. Oh, they still have it. Wonder what checks they're cashing.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of crazy actually. Because they signed them too early. It was the org's fault anyway.
Of course, I mean they signed it pretty much when they like the second they announced it all.
Like you think we were upset about the delay? I bet you those orgs were 10 times more upset.
For real. All right, I'm going to kill the stream so I can get to editing this. Love everyone in chat. Joey, if you're still there, love you. Talk to you guys.